What's going on, legends? It's your boy Errl Shatter here, and in today's video, we finally have update 1.07. The patch notes are here, so I want to go over them with you guys. First and foremost, free maps. Yes, that's right, free maps. They've added Kravnik Farmland to Ground War and Shoot House to multiplayer. They've also added Hardpoint and Shoot House 24/7. And Shoot House 24/7 is going to include TDM, Domination, Kill Confirm, and Headquarters. And yes, this content is free for everyone across all platforms. It's a pretty exciting year for Call of Duty with this content being free and all. But let's jump right into the full list of the patch notes. General, they did back-end fixes to prevent crashes, improve stability across all platforms, includes dev errors and various performance fixes. They did fix for a few bugs where streaks and field upgrades were able to be flown out of bounds without penalty. General out of bounds fixes were also added. Fix for a bug where a player would be being killed by an enemy with a variable zoom scope would not see the zoom function. They would not see the zoom function in the kill cam. They did a fix for the Semtex warning audio being heard at the same volume, whether in a building or outside. In Headquarters, players were able to use a tactical insertion and respawn when their team owned the point. Wow, that's a pretty big fix they needed to get in there. They fixed for various collision issues across the map. They added UI that shows XP events are active in playlist menus. They did sprint and tactical sprint speeds are now back to the speeds from the beta, so that's exciting actually. They did a fix for a bug where the progress of the bomb defusal can be seen by the team that planted the bomb. They fixed a bug that revealed players to UAVs when they fired their weapons, even if they had Ghost and a silencer equipped. That's a huge fix, so that's going to change for those of us running Ghost and a suppressor or silencer. It's going to be maybe a little bit more slick. They fixed an issue where if multiple personal radars were active on a team and are both marking the same enemy, only one player would see them. So that's kind of huge as well. They did a fix where the throwing knife and thermite weren't causing the shield to go on the player's back when thrown. We've also fixed the issue where explosive splash damage wasn't working consistently. We'll continue to tune the riot shield in future updates. The riot shield can kind of be a pain in the butt. Nice to see that they're kind of tweaking that based on feedback. I mean, this is what makes a great developing team. For Infinity Ward to be doing this, it's huge. They fixed claymores. Detonating an enemy claymore with bullets is now non-lethal when at full health. They've also reduced the trigger and damage radius, and also reduced the damage width to better match the trigger width. Battle chatter. Remove the ability for enemies to hear when they've been called out by opposing team. They've also adjusted the enemy callouts so they're never from your operator. Enemy callouts now use a more restricted cone at the hip and even more restricted in ADS when calculating whether or not to trigger. We'll continue to monitor this and make additional tweaks to battle chatter in future updates. So hopefully this will kind of decrease the amount of callouts your player will be making. I mean, that was always super huge, contact, and you can actually enemy team can hear you coming. Not good. Mounting, the slight increase to recoil while mounted. That's actually going to be kind of huge, although it might be a pain for camo challenges. EOD now clamps damage to non-lethal amount, assuming the player is at full health. Lighting, continued updates to player visibility in dark windows and dark areas. So trying to keep it to where you can actually see the people in those dark spots. That's kind of important. Footsteps. Now this is huge. We've increased the occlusion percentage to filter footsteps better behind geometry and adjusted the footstep volume at a distance. We have another footstep change coming in the next update, which will make crouch and ADS move significantly quieter. Stay tuned. Challenge and progression rank. Daily challenges and active missions are getting a full sweep of testing and fixes. We'll have more updates for these in the future updates. We'll have more updates to these systems in future updates. Yep. Fix for a bug where the infiltrator challenge was not tracking properly. Fix for launchers not giving XP when shooting down kill streaks. That is huge because otherwise it's going to take forever to rank up those launchers. Fix for a bug where planning or defusing 5 bombs in cyber attack or S&D was not tracking properly. Camo challenge for kills after a reload did not give the player enough time to acquire kills, so time has been increased. Fix for a bug where the XP required to reach the next rank was higher than the value needed. Wow, that's probably pretty huge. The weapons, now this is going to be intense. There is, of course, what seems like a nerf to the 725 shotgun, increase the ADS and hip spread, Increased to ADS and hip spread, reduced damage range. M4 assault rifle. This is going to be huge. Lots of people using this. Reduced damage range, small recoil increase. They assault rifles across the board. Increased hip fire spread to reduced effectiveness up close. Less damage at a long range or full auto 5.56 rifles. The SMG's got increased movement speed, increased ADS move speed, small reduction in sprint out time. So that should be nice. SMGs might be a little bit better to use at this point. The Uzi SMG got increased damage range. Oh my God, is this a blessing? I used the Uzi. It was a terrible experience. I just felt like, I like the Uzi. I like the idea of trying to use it. It's been a favorite weapon of mine, even though it's never been the strongest. But it was just impossible to win gunfights against people, especially using the M4. It's nice to see a little tweak to that. The MG34 LMG got increased hip spread, damage range reduction, small ADS slowdown. The M91 LMG increased hip spread, small damage range reduction. The PKM increased hip spread, medium damage range reduction. It looks like a nerf to the LMGs across the board. That's pretty huge. Pistols got increased move speed, reduced sprint out time, and increased damage range. Holy smokes. I wonder if that includes the Desert Eagle, even though it's technically, I believe, a handgun. Crouch and prone no longer adjust recoil. So now you're going to have recoil regardless of if you crouch or prone. Cyber attack, they fixed a bug where a player could no longer use their primary weapon and would be unable to see their view model after being revived by a teammate. Ground war, these are probably some big fixes here. We got fix for a bug where players would sometimes be unable to pick a spawn location. Fix for a bug where attack insert would cause enemy players to spawn on an enemy home base. The Special Ops, or Spec Ops, has had quite a few bugs in it. Looks like they're going to have some fixes in there as well for those of you guys playing that. Pick up intel in the operations. Explore Verdansk to find additional backstory information of Verdansk and the operators. A fix for scoreboards displaying incorrect data. XP adjustments and general back-end fixes. Various fixes for out-of-bounds and parachute exploits. So maybe that'll keep people from going out of bounds. Respawn timer no longer stays on screen after teammates are revived from bleed out. Fix for issue where munitions was not usable after respawning via gunship. Fix for losing your weapons when picking up the core. Achievements can now be unlocked in CP. Fix for issue where players could not spawn with their weapons in down state. Picked up munitions no longer carry over from match to match. Only the munitions you purchase with points will. When responding with the gunship, you will no longer be given the tank role. Selecting an allegiance operator or allegiance as favorite faction will now properly assign the voice of the correct operator. Operator Headhunter, fixed for bug where players were unable to lock missiles onto the final boss helicopter. Operation Crosswind, adjusted stealth for gameplay. And Operation Paladin, fixed for bug where there was no UI or indicator of where to go or how to finish the objective after defending the third arms crate. And then a fix for a bug where the default weapon was different than the weapon a player would hold if they were placed in last stand. They said check out notes for our previous updates. Well, we don't need to look into our previous updates. It looks like this update has a ton of bug fixes, even some weapon changes like the M4 and the 725. We'll have to see if it's enough to balance the game out a little bit more. Obviously, we would love to see some changes as far as the tanks are concerned. Maybe we won't have so many on the hill, but that's going to be obviously something in the future, I hope. I hope they just do some things. But across the board, we did get a new map. Got 2 new maps, technically. We're going to get that 24/7 mode with the new regular multiplayer map. And then, of course, the new ground war map, Farmland, which I hope to get some gameplay for you guys probably maybe tomorrow or whatever. But that's going to do things. That's going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this content at any time, you guys were happy to, I went over the patch notes with you. Make sure you guys go down below and smash that like button. Let's go ahead and throw that goal of 50 likes on today's video. Also, if you guys are interested in finding your way back to the channel, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button. Closing in on 3,000 subscribers, less than 130 to go. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Appreciate you guys for tuning into today's video, all the support on the channel, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace!